Hey, it's me again. And yes, I can't stand lives because, well, you all know, today I did fix my hair and I put on makeup. And so here I am. I have had an interesting day, to say the least. And it's not even hardly 9 o'clock this morning, but here I am following up because, yes, I am 2 days late and I apologize. So, let's just go ahead and get this thing rolling. I was going to tell you about some Panama City trips. They're a whole house on the beach. One of them's within walking distance to the beach for July. Gulf Shores, according to my resources yesterday, has sold out. They do have hotel rooms left, but as far as condos, they're booked up till the end of July. I apologize for that, but that's just what we have on record, okay? I'm sure they have some pricey stuff I could get my hands on, but let's be real, who wants to do that when you can just go on over to Pensacola or to Destin, okay? So anyway, now let's get on with this. So I was trying to think, what would you guys want to hear about? And I had an appointment this morning, and the lady asked me to tell her a little bit about why I had chosen to get into education and about my spiritual journey. So I thought, hey, let me just jump on and tell you guys about it. So here I am. So I had gotten into education because a few of our children, my husband and I, we have 7 between us, had learning disabilities. We were struggling when we first got together because it is hard to mesh a family, work several jobs that don't pay well in order to try to make sure all the ends meet and all the ends go together. So a friend of mine, well, was my husband's friend first before he was mine, but Martin, I claim you now, okay? So he had told me about some substitute teaching jobs. I actually had a degree to where I didn't have to substitute. I could do what was called a paraprofessional, aka teacher's aide. So anyway, I had tried that job. I liked it. I couldn't believe I liked working with children because we do have a lot of children, and I had dropped out of going to college to be a teacher years ago because I was trying to be a high school teacher. For a little person, I don't recommend that. You got to have a lot of gumption. So anyway, I had tried this middle school gig. I liked it. I met my now mentor. I love you, Mr. Dawson, who suggested I go back to school. So I did go back to school. And now I'm so close to graduating that it's unreal. But I cannot get used to summers off. But, you know, I'll get there. I'm used to being a single mom, working too many jobs, and having no time for me. Now that I have time for me, I'm like, what do I do with it? So, well, today I chose to put on makeup and fix my hair. So anyway, then I had interviewed for a Christian school, and I'm not sure that that's where my calling's at because it was for a general education job, and I'm, you know, people make jokes saying I'm special ed, but I really am. I love special ed. That's where my heart's at because these children get written off so much, and I just, they don't deserve that. So anyway, as she and I were talking, she said, well, tell me about your spiritual journey, you know. So, you know, my spiritual journey and my testimony, as she called it, would be that I put my faith in everything. I don't make plans, which according to my grandmother was a hippie trait. So anyway, I still don't make plans. I pray about it and I leave it at if it's your will. So today, you know, I don't want to change jobs because I honestly love our principal and vice principal, which is kind of corny, but my mom doesn't really care for me being in the job I've got, but I thought I would try because, you know, what's God's will? What do you know unless you reach out? So I had asked everyone to pray God's will, and I prayed God's will. And it was so neat because as I got in there, I met this vice principal and principal, and as we began talking, the principal looks at me and she says, well, we don't have a special education program. And I'm like, oh boy, well, I guess maybe God's will is general education. I'm not sure I'm ready for that, because how creative can you really get the general education? So I'm like, well, we'll keep talking. So we keep talking, and you know, I'm telling her about my children and about why I love my job. And the gentleman that was there, the vice principal, he says, well, have you talked to your school, the college I go to, and asked them, can they apply these hours you've spent at your other school towards your degree? And I have not done that, and I'm going to do that here in a little bit. And I was like, wow. And then he said, but you can tell you love what you're doing, and I really do. And that was God's sign for me to stay doing what I'm doing. Mom, I'm gonna be fine, I promise. But you know, that's my testimony, is that I have always kept my faith and allowed God to lead. If we try to force our journey, it makes our head and bottoms hurt, as my grandma used to say, because until I trusted and believed, my life sucked, to be real. It was super duper hard. Now, has it been a piece of cake and an icicle? Yeah, the icicle is jammy in the bottom some, but you know, I look at it, and thankfully, you know, Dara and John explained to me when I was going through some things that God puts a diamond and pressurizes it to make it shine and sparkle. So as we go through our troubles and our trials, that's getting us ready to sparkle. Now, I should be sparkling like a real shiny platinum diamond right now with some stuff I've went through, but I think I'm doing pretty good, and I'm about like a star. So there's your story about my journey, and I hope it helps you. I hope it brings some light and some clarity if you have a situation. Don't ever forget Mend Your Family Vacations Facebook. Check us out, Jennifer Minshew, and teletravel.com. Check it out. All right, and if you need anything, hit me up in my inbox, Jennifer Minshew, Jennifer and Tim LLC at gmail.com. Y'all have a fantastic day, and always remember Philippians 4:13.